Hello everyone, it's me Uncle John. Today I am going to read at 66025 Arthur and the Lost Diary, Chapter 1. It was a busy afternoon at the library. Lots of people were wandering about, choosing books or doing research. At one table, Sue Ellen was sitting alone. She didn't look up when anyone walked by, nor did she pay any attention to passing conversation. She was concentrating on writing in her diary. Dear diary, the library is a crowded place today. A lot of my friends are here working on school projects. Sometimes I think it's funny that I have so many different kinds of friends. I wonder sometimes why I'm friends with them, not with other people. If I could make up some new friends, what kind would I want? Should they be friends who always keep me present or volunteer to clean up my room? Maybe I like famous friends who star in TV shows or movies. What makes someone a real friend, anyway? So Ellen put down her pen. That was enough for now. She loved having a diary, a special place to write down her private thoughts. It wasn't that her ideas were always great or important, but she liked putting the words on paper where she could look at them. She closed the diary and traced the edge of the binding with her finger. So Ellen had designed the cover herself. My diary she had printed neatly with a sparkle pen. Underneath, she had added private and do not open in large letters. The library clock struck 4 times, reminding Sue Ellen that it was time to go. She picked up all the books she wanted to check out and piled them on her school notebook and diary. She tucked everything underneath her arm as she walked to the circulation desk. She had to shift her arm to stay balanced, and when she did, her diary slipped out of the pile, fell silently onto the carpet. Miss Turner sat at the checkout counter, waiting to help people with their books. She smiled when she saw Sue Ellen. That's an impressive pile. I see you're going to be reading a lot this week. I couldn't make up my mind, Sue Ellen admitted. There were so many good books to choose from. As Miss Turner began checking out the books, Sue Ellen spread them on the counter. When she got to the last one, she expected to see her diary underneath. But all she saw was a notebook. Immediately, she searched among the other books. Is anything wrong? Asked Miss Turner. No, I didn't. No, I don't think. No, I don't think. Well, yes. So Ellen looked around the floor. All she saw were 2 paper clips and a pencil eraser. I think I lost something, she said. Quickly, she retraced her steps to the table where she had been sitting. The diary wasn't there. Where could it have gone? Diaries don't disappear like magic. They don't walk away by themselves. She knelt down and searched under the chairs and pushing aside fit when she had to excuse me. Ouch. Watch my fingers. Coming through. Sue Ellen searched everywhere she could remember walking, and also a few places she hadn't. She even looked through the wastebasket, but it was no good. The diary was nowhere to be found. Chapter 2. Sue Ellen dragged herself back to the checkout counter. Her face was red and her eyes watery. What is wrong? Asked Miss Turner, who could see that Sue Ellen was upset. I lost my diary. I had it a minute ago. I don't understand. I must have left it there. I must left it here. She scanned the counter again, but I guess I didn't. Books don't get lost in my library, Miss Turner assured her. Describe it to me. Sue Ellen took a deep breath. Well, it kind of looks like a book. It has a shiny red leather cover. Well, at least it looks like leather. And there are some blue sparkle letters that say, My Diary. And under that I wrote, Private, do not open. That is very specific. I said, Miss Turner, you should make a search easier. Don't worry, we'll find it. I'll tell everyone on the step to be on the lookout. Thanks. I guess I'll keep looking myself. I just wish. Sue Ellen paused because she heard some laughing. It was exactly the kind of sound the girl might make if she was looking at a secret diary. I'll be back, she told Miss Turner. So Ellen traced the sound to the corner where Francine was hunched over some pages. So that's where it went, said Sue Ellen. She marched up to the desk. Pretty funny, huh, Francine? Francine nodded. I'll say, listen to this. I don't have to listen to it, said Sue Ellen. I wrote it. She snatched the book away from Francine. Hey, there's nothing funny about stealing someone's diary. I'm surprised at you, Francine. I thought you were my... Sue Ellen looked down at the book. It was red, but it didn't have blue sparkle letters. Hey, this isn't my diary. Of course not, said Francine. It's a joke book. What would I be doing with your diary? I don't know. You could have picked it up. You could have picked it up. It's red and says private on it. I had it a minute ago and now it's gone. How mysterious, said Francine. Do you think it was stolen? Sue Ellen didn't know what to think. It was only valuable to me. I've been writing in it forever. I've never had a diary, said Francine. What do you write in it? My ideas? What's happened during the day? Private thoughts? It is very important that I find it, Francine. There is just stuff in there about everyone. Francine's eyes opened wide. Everyone? When you say everyone, you mean everyone? Yes, but that's not what matters now. It matters to me, said Francine. What have you been writing? I can't talk about that now. I have to find my diary. Before Francine could say anything more, Sue Ellen rushed off. If she didn't find the diary soon, she didn't know what she would do. Chapter 3. What's wrong with Sue Ellen? Murphy asked Francine. Yeah, she's all upset about losing her diary. It says private on the front of it. She even thought I was reading it. Francine shook her head. I don't see why that would upset her. Said Murphy. Maybe she wrote something in it about you, something she doesn't want you to read. About me? Francine put her hands on her lips. But what would she write about me? Maybe all the mean things you have done to her. Francine looked surprised. What things? Murphy folded her arms, like pushing her in the mud yesterday. I didn't push her, Francine insisted. She tripped. Right next to you, though. I just happened to be there. I don't push people in the mud. Well, you laughed. Of course I laughed. It was funny. She was covered with mud. Murphy crossed her arms. You're standing next to her when she fell, and you laughed afterward. What if she thinks you pushed her? Francine bit her lip. She suddenly saw the bearded doctor in a white coat sitting behind the large desk. After a knock at the door, Sue Ellen came in. She was spattered in mud. Do you have an appointment? Asked the doctor. No, Sue Ellen admitted, but I have to see you at once, Dr. Zimmer. It's an emergency. Oh, and what's the nature of this emergency? Sue Ellen held out her arms. Can't you tell? Francine just pushed me in the mud. Doctor stroked his beard. So I see, he said. Sue Ellen consulted her diary. That's the 17th time this month that Francine has been mean to me. Something must be done. I come to you because you're the world's leading specialist in mean children. True, said the doctor. May I see that? He took the diary from Sue Ellen and looked through it quickly. Ah, yes. Pushing, laughing, eating the fruit, filling in your snack pie, leaving you only the crust. He sighed. I'm afraid your friend exhibits all the signs of the old agreism. Agreism? Exactly. The doctor pushed a button on his desk and the flickering TV screen appeared on the wall. It showed a girl screaming at other children. Then she pushed one of them down. As you can see, doctor continued, this is a disease in which the victim cannot control her meanness. That's Francine, Dr. Zimmer stopped the film. We've been watching her for a long time. I'm afraid there is no help for her. We must keep away from the other children. At that moment, Francine burst in on them. She pointed her finger at Sue Ellen. I thought I would find you here, but before Francine could do anything further, two uninformed guards ran in and restrained her. Leave me alone, Francine shouted. Sorry, said one of the guards, but the organism is very contagious. We must remove you at once. Besides, said the second guard, the other children don't want to play with you. You've been too mean to them. But I can change, really. The guards laughed. If we had a nickel for every time we heard that one, said the first guard, we'd have a lot of nickels. Second guard to finish up. They both laughed again. Chapter 4. But you have to give me another chance, said Francine. I don't have the organism. You don't have what? Muffy asked. Francine blinked. She was back in the library. It's a disease. Sue Ellen may have written about it in her diary. The Francine stood up and wiped her forehead. I need a drink. She headed off for the water fountain. Francine is so excitable sometimes. Muffy said to herself. The Sue Ellen probably didn't write about her at all. She paused, leaning against a shelf. Of course, she did have to write about something. Everyday events can be sobering, though. She probably has to make up stories. Muffy saw herself looking into a long mirror. She was dressed as a princess in a long, flowing dress with a jeweled crown on her head. Sue Ellen was standing next to her. She was wearing a plain dress with no jewelry. Princess Millicenta, said Sue Ellen. There's no one who compares with you. Go on, said Muffy. You're rich, true. You're beautiful, true again. And you're the smartest princess in the land. 3 for 3, Muffy agreed. You're so fair, Sue Ellen went on. While I'm just okay, a shadow hid the sun for a moment. Who dares to interrupt my fine weather? Asked Muffy. Sue Ellen looked out the window and gasped. It's a dragon, she cried. A fire-breathing dragon, and it's causing big trouble in the village. Muffy combed her hair. Oh, what are the villagers doing about it? They're running this way. They are? The princess was alarmed. Help us, shouted the villagers. Help us, rich and beautiful and smart princess, the Millicenta. Muffy sighed. I guess we should do something. Fear not, princess, said Sue Ellen. They're putting on a suit of armor. I'll handle this. She started clanking down the tower stairs. But after a few moments, the clanking stopped. What's the matter? Asked Muffy. Why have you stopped? Oof, Sue Ellen called up. I'm stuck in the doorway, she gasped. And the dragon is approaching. Muffy looked out the window. The dragon was on its way up the hill. Muffy sighed. If you want something done right, you've got to do it yourself. She took the end of her long, braided hair and threaded it through a handy pulley outside the window. Then she lowered herself to the ground. As the dragon prepared to toast Sue Ellen to crisp, Muffy spritzed it with a bottle of her perfume. The dragon's fire was snuffed out. Oh, princess, gushed Sue Ellen. My thanks. I don't know how I can ever repay you. Well, this perfume is $30 a bottle. You can start there. Sue Ellen sighed. You must be the most practical princess in the world. Yes, Muffy said happily. I suppose I am. Chapter 5. Hey, Space Cadet, said Binky, tapping Muffy on the shoulder. Muffy blinked. Oh, what's that? You can't talk to me that way. I'm a princess. The Binky just shrugged. Okay. But whatever you are, you're blocking the shelf. I need to look for a book back there. Oh, sorry. Muffy stepped aside. I guess I was thinking about Sue Ellen's diary. She lost it. Tough luck. It had the most wonderful story about me. The Binky looked confused. I thought this was Sue Ellen's diary. Well, it is, but a diary is a good place to write about your friends. "Oh, really?" said Binky. "What did this diary look like?" "I'm not sure, but it said private on it." "I saw a book like that," said Binky. "It was on the floor. I put it on one of the cots." "You did?" The Binky nodded. "It's not good to leave books on the floor." "Did you look inside it?" Murphy asked. "No," said Binky. "Why would I? The report I'm doing isn't on anything private." I know, said Muffy. "But that's not the point. A diary can be very, interesting. People write down how they really feel about everything. Everything." Muffy nodded. "And everybody. I just hope we can find it." She left to see if she could help with the search. Binky was impressed. "Everybody, huh?" he said to himself. Keeping a diary sounded like a lot of work. Writing one didn't appeal to him, but if Sue Ellen was writing about everybody, Binky reached up to get a book, but his arm froze in midair. That would even include me, he realized. Binky saw Sue Ellen sitting at a desk in her bedroom. She was writing in her diary. The diary. "Today was very special. I was able to spend almost all my time with Binky Barnes, the man of my dream." She drew a picture of Binky in the margin. He had on sunglasses like a movie star. "He's just so handsome and strong too. Today the school bus got stuck in the mud, and Binky volunteered to go lift up the back end." The bus driver said that wouldn't be necessary, but Binky did it anyway, and the driver didn't seem to mind. I can tell that the other boys all look up to Binky. Who can blame them? I only wish I could get Binky to notice me. I tried smiling at him a lot, but he only asked me what's wrong with my face. I follow him around on the playground, but he wants to know if I'm lost or something. I've even started bringing him extra dessert for lunch. At least that gets his attention, and I know he likes the dessert because he always the burps afterward. I'm not sure I can go on though without letting him know how I feel. Maybe tonight I should go over to his house and serenade him under his window. If that doesn't show him, nothing will. The end.